We're still within that 24-hour window of enjoying a game. And look, there's a huge matchup next week against Georgia, but it's been hard to wipe the smile off my face. Maybe that happens next Saturday. Hopefully not. But this game, this Iron Bowl, is one for the ages. It really was amazing. And I'm going to tell you guys the top 5 reasons that I think Alabama won that football game. First, though, thank you for hanging out with us here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. If you're new, make sure that you like and subscribe and be part of what we're doing. Let's talk some Alabama football. Give us a thumbs up to say roll. What do you say, everybody? I'm Mick Gillispie. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the channel, and let's talk some Alabama football. I cannot believe that they won the game, and I got to give Auburn a lot of credit. After the showing against New Mexico State, they came into the Iron Bowl, and they upheld the rivalry tradition. They played their asses off. They came up short, but tip of the cap to them. Alabama did not have their best game. I think there's some reasons why, though. And the first thing I want to say is anytime that Jason Autry and his crew is officiating a game, you can go and figure that it's not going to be done very well. I mean, it was the same crew that was horrible last year in Tennessee, and it felt horrible again on Saturday. I think it was bad both ways, but I could sit here and talk about it all day. That was, to me, one of the factors in this football game. And it was pretty bad. All right, let's get into the top 5 reasons, though. And I'm going to start at number 5. Pure luck, Alabama won this football game. I mean, it's just pure luck. I mean, so many things had to happen late in the game for them to win that if they didn't have some luck on their side, it would not have happened. And I love that Nick Saban said in the postgame, walking off the field, there's been a lot of weird things that have happened here. It's just the first time that the weird things happen to help us win or something to that effect. And he's exactly right. I mean, think about these games. This Auburn team isn't any good, but they were good on Saturday. They wasted an opportunity to prepare for New Mexico State, in my opinion, to prepare for Alabama. And it was obvious because they had dotted the I's and they had crossed their T's with the game plan to take on Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide. Just a tremendous game plan. They were doing things that they hadn't done all year. They didn't even really throw the ball much. And Peyton Thorne, when he had opportunities, didn't really take advantage of a lot of them, but he did enough. They could have won the football game without throwing the ball, and they were running it very effectively, which I didn't think they would be able to do. But Alabama got lucky. And, the punt, the fumble, and the recovery. And then, obviously you have it at the 6-yard line. And then all of a sudden you're back at the 31. They overcame penalties and another bad snap by Seth McLaughlin, who just can't figure it out. And they still won. And it was the most dramatic win that I have ever seen in a football game, especially that magnitude. So I look for our friend Daniel Moore to eventually paint one of these for that game. I think everybody's calling for it. Wow. Didn't feel like 10-1 against 6-5. It just felt like, two teams that were ready to go. But Alabama had some breaks. Pure luck. That's all there is to it. And Auburn has had their breaks. Pure kick 6, pure luck. Cam back, pure luck. The fumble by Ingram in that 2010 Iron Bowl in Tuscaloosa, if it goes out of bounds at any point, Alabama is going to win the football game. Thing rolls down the sideline, out of bounds, Auburn gets it back, and of course, what happens there. How many opportunities did Alabama have to win that game? Nick Saban talked about that in the postgame, the kick 6 game, which Auburn had all those guys back honoring them. But that was pure luck. This was pure luck. Auburn should have won this football game, but they didn't. Alabama won on pure luck and some other things too. Maybe they didn't win totally on pure luck, but they had some pure luck that helped them out. Number 4, better talent. And I'm watching this game, and I'm just so surprised when Alabama had their touchdown called back for holding, it would have made it 14-0. That would have effectively ended this football game. Auburn would have never had the success that they had if Alabama goes up 14-0. I mean, you could just feel it, the momentum. That changed the momentum of the game. Of course, it was an official's call. And, whatever. That was kind of, to me, the turning point in this game to make it a close game. But you just knew over the course of time that Alabama, who had better players at so many positions, would eventually be able to weather the storm. And it took a while. I figured by the middle of the third quarter that Alabama would be in position for that talent gap to take a hold. And it just didn't. Auburn, by running the football, ran the clock down. They controlled the pace of the football game. And that really changed the way that this thing went. They could go pace if they wanted to, which they did some. But, by running, you're constantly wearing down the opposition. But you knew that at some point, Alabama's talent was going to come through. And it started with Jalen Milroe. He's a better quarterback than Peyton Thorne. He does more. He can run. He can throw. He's got that amazing touch on the deep passes. And you just figured that over the course of time in a football game that was going to transpire. And I thought it did. I thought with about 4 minutes left, right around the time of that fumble, maybe even the drive before that for Auburn, you could tell that they were out of gas. Like they had done everything that team could possibly do. And they were sputtering along. I don't think they would have gotten first downs had they gotten the ball back. That doesn't mean that Alabama would have won. I just think that they would have had to punt the football and give it back. Number 3, and if you guys watched my post-game show last night, you know that I talked about this. I think there's a respect that you have to have for your opponent in a game. And if you try to act like you're, the lunchroom bully and you're going to go pick on the weak guy and take his lunch money, bad things happen to you. I mean, how many movies have we seen that happen? And Mekhi Riley of Auburn attacking James Burnip on that kick and jumping on him and just acting like a complete bully, to me, was ridiculous. And I felt like at that point that the gods of sport were going to come back and haunt him and Auburn, and they did. I've spent years around professional and college sports, and there's a respect that you have for the opposition in the game that if you don't have it, it just seems to come back and bite you. And I really can't explain why, but some of the best people that I've ever been around in the game, and Nick Saban kind of exemplifies this, is just doing things the right way pays off. And some of it is, just by pure luck, and some of it, circumstance, I don't know. But when Coy Moore fumbled that next punt, Burnip kicked it a little bit higher, a little bit stronger. There was a little bit more to it. And in there was some payback. There was some payback in that kick. And that's why Auburn lost the football game, because of that fumble. And it set Alabama up for the dramatics at the end of the game. Number 3, determination. That was something that Milroe talked about. This team has talked about. When Nick Saban showed up to take over as head coach of Alabama, we always found a way to lose in the fourth quarter. That was a staple of Mike Shula's football teams. Be ahead in the third and right around the fourth, and then blow it at the end. And when Nick Saban came in, it was all about the fourth quarter program. That the conditioning, the hard work, mentally and physically, being prepared to go into a hostile environment like Auburn and come up with that big play. And who knows what play is going to be the big play? Well, I guess in that game, we knew that the last play was going to be the big play because it was going to be the last play, or at least, pretty close to it. But determination. Jalen Milroe has grown up a lot this season as Alabama's quarterback. Talking about a guy that we weren't really sure what he brought to the table at the beginning of the season. He looked scared against Texas. To make a throw. He was having trouble reading. and then he sat out, and then he's come back, and he's just been a leader. It's like forget about all the athletic talent and ability. He's just been a leader. And no matter how bad things were, and if I was behind center and I had Seth McLaughlin consistently making my job harder because he can't seem to figure out when to snap the ball, I don't know that I would be able to hold it together if I was him. But Milroe, the entire season, has just risen to the occasion. So no matter how bad of a position that some of these snaps have put Alabama in, and other factors as well. I mean, look, he didn't help himself running past the line of scrimmage and then trying to throw the football when he probably should have just ran it. But at the end of the day, it was determination. It was grit. It was just this belief that they still had a chance to win up until they didn't. And what's crazy is it was 99.9% that they were going to lose that football game. And then the 4th and 31 and goal pass, which changed it all. But this program has been built on determination. This win against Auburn, this Iron Bowl Classic was a great example of that. And then finally, it's an easy one, the process. You know what? The process has never been about the results. It's been about getting the best out of you and your teammates, doing your job, following the team mentality, being in position, working hard, competing, all of these different things that when Nick Saban took over and people would say, what are you guys going to win championships? And he would say, we're going to follow the process. And the process, when he got to Alabama, saw Alabama in a 5-game losing streak to Auburn. He lost the 6th one and then has had a really good record against a tough rival ever since then. But it's following the process, doing the things that it takes to be your best on a daily basis. And he's asked the crowd to step up, and they've done that. And I hope that a lot of you guys go to Atlanta and are part of the atmosphere coming up on Saturday. But it's following the process. He has been just locked in on this process since he got there in 2007. And the process continues. The guys have to buy in because it's not always glorious. It's not always fun, right? You sometimes you got to spend time on the bench for a couple of years, figuring out how to do everything right instead of just throwing you into the game because you feel like you want to play, but you're not ready. You're not ready if you're a running back to block. Maybe you're not in position on pass plays. You can run the ball, but there's other parts of it. It's looking at yourself and figuring out how you can be your best on a daily basis. And if everybody's doing their best and following the process, success follows. And that was a lot of fun. The success of that game on Saturday was amazing. So a win for Alabama. Now they take on Georgia in Atlanta. The entire world thinks Alabama's going to get blown away, but they'll just follow the process. And I guarantee you that good things will continue to happen for the Crimson Tide. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Again, like and subscribe. We got a lot of great stuff coming up for you. Make sure you check out Sunday Rollback. We'll have all of our regular shows, including the Nick Saban press conference on Monday, where we'll watch and react. We'll do the playoff show on Tuesday when the standings come out. We'll have the press conference on Wednesday and a bunch of other stuff getting you ready for the tailgate show that'll be live from the floor Bama on Friday, and then Alabama and Texas. No, Alabama and Auburn. No. It's Alabama and Georgia. And that game is for the SEC championship and hopefully for Alabama, a trip to the college football playoff. I'm Mick Gillispie. Thanks for hanging out. Our show's been brought to you by Pearl River Resort in Choctaw, Mississippi. Now's a great time to make your picks count at the Timeout Sports Lounge and Sportsbook. Check them out And look, you got something going on. The holidays are here. Really fun thing. Gather up your buddies and head over to Pearl River Resort. And I guarantee you're going to have fun. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Roll Tide.